Hey guys, Poker 93 in the place to be. Welcome to the Wrestling Corner, episode 6 of season 5. And as I promised, I did say that I would try to get the whole intro thing down better. I think it worked out better than last week's. Anyway, I hope everybody had a nice weekend, especially for you wrestling fans, since there was a pay-per-view for this weekend, which I will be talking about. Hell in the Cell 2015. I was also happy that before Hell in the Cell 2015 that my New York Giants got a win over their rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. So that made hopefully 93 and Michael a very happy man. And I'm not gonna lie, Hell in the Cell 2015 kind of made me a little bit more of a happy man because, as you guys know, I had low expectations for the pay-per-view, but I feel that the pay-per-view kind of way exceeded my expectations. So, I mean, so far, you haven't been watching Raw as of late. Basically, we're gonna decide. We're basically gonna find out who's gonna be the number one contender. Basically, the next challenger to Seth Rollins' WWE Championship. With 4 qualifying matches that will lead into a fatal 4-way match that I believe is going to happen later on tonight. So far, Roman Reigns has won. So far, Roman Reigns has won. So far, Kevin Owens has won. And so far, the returning. You know what? I'll save that. That would be as a good way to segue into the review. Well, right now it's Big E versus Dolph Ziggler for the final qualifying match, but I think the returning is a good segue into, because it was the first match and it was the only big surprise of the night. And opinions may vary on how big the surprise was. But we kick off Hell in a Cell 2015. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I said last last week it was the 7th annual event. Is it 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? Yeah, it was the 7th annual Hell in a Cell pay-per-view event. Oh man. It was, being broadcasted live from Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Not about it. California. And that's it. And I was a little bit surprised that the Cena Open Challenge, Cena defended United States Championship match was the first match of the night. We kicked off with that. And, it was a big mystery of who Cena's opponent would be. A couple of my old friends were predicting, one of my friends predicted it to be Bryan. Bryan would make a surprise return. Joe, I think Balor, but it was neither of those three. It was first, we got the return. We did get a return. First, we got a return from Zeb Coulter. And I remember when Chris came home and he saw Zeb Coulter, he first thought, oh, Jack Swagger? No, not Jack Swagger. But somebody that you can say has had a feud with Jack Swagger, and that was Alberto Del Rio. Yes. Maybe didn't say anything. Maybe didn't talk about it on the past corners, but there were rumors of Alberto Del Rio coming back to WWE. Like WWE was trying to work a deal to get him back. In terms of rumors were true. Del Rio returns, and it's like a big WTF moment. Oh, it's like Zeb Coulter and Del Rio, and it's not because of Del Rio being, for me, it wasn't because he was Mexican. Going with Zeb Coulter's gimmick, because Del Rio is Mexican and all. I'm like, well, he teamed up with Cesaro. He has Cesaro problem, but it was more these two, they couldn't stand each other. But we've seen that in wrestling before, like Stone Cold and Triple H, the power trip. They try to kill each other, literally. So Del Rio is John Cena's John Cena's challenger, and honestly, and I thought I'm still having a real hard time thinking. I'm trying to wrap my mind on this match because it just felt off from the start. I mean, you had Del Rio kicking at Cena's leg. That didn't really lead to anything. And like, okay. Then Del Rio got his stuff in, he got his, as I look at my notes here, he got in his, the front door. Actually, he did his signature outside spill, which we well, look out, which we saw tonight. He's out through the ropes. He got in his tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. He got in his insecurity, and then it just went right into Cena. Going into his comeback. Shoulder block, duck, sit. Spin out slam, five knuckle shuffle, and then look out. And then he sets up Del Rio for the FU. Del Rio escapes it, hits a backstabber, and then kneeling super kick. And then surprisingly, it gets to 1, 2, 3. And I'm just like, and when I was watching on the network at first, my feed, it got disconnected. Did the whole you gotta retry or whatever. So when it came back on, Del Rio was already holding the belt. I'm thinking, okay, did I miss something, or was that the finish? And sure enough, yeah, the backstabber super kick was the finish. And speaking of super kick, Ziggler just hit one on Biggie. I don't mind a super kick getting the win because it's gotten Shawn Michaels a lot of wins, and at this rate in WWE, it's almost like, or in wrestling, who's not doing a super kick and not getting the win with it. But at the end of the day, it's almost like it's John Cena. It's John Cena. The finish is so sudden. There's really no build to it. Most times in a pay-per-view match, if Cena hits his kids, his shoulder block. Most like go for the first. That was a good match, and he goes for the F. Yeah, we most times expect for it to be counter everything and maybe leads to a miracle, but no, this actually led to the finish. There was no comebacks, no back and forth sequence. So it just felt a little bit off for Cena. Like, I knew Cena. Remember, I predicted Cena to lose the belt because he's supposed to be going on his vacation and he's not on Raw tonight. But it's just weird that it was so sudden. The match felt off. The crowd was very receptive to Del Rio's comeback, and it just like really that was the end. And my friend Nate brought up a good point that, in a way, for that to be the end of the end of the John Cena Open Challenge, because you always had JBL saying, sooner or later it's going to catch up with John Cena. For that to kind of be the end, it's pretty anticlimactic for that match. It's almost like with the streak for rather the streak end the match was something like for the Open Challenge. For that to be the end, that's kind of weak. And it's because you compare it to the Ziggler match, the Sami Zayn match, the Neville match. All those matches, Even the Ambrose one, which I believe was the first match. If I'm not mistaken, was the first open challenge match. It's like on then, they weren't part of the open challenge, but the Kevin Owens United States Championship matches. Like, and for that to be the end, I thought that's kind of anticlimactic. And I also agree with Nate when he said that, because on the whole goal of the United States, the John Cena in the United States reign, we mostly was being optimistic when Cena became United States champ. We all thought that, we all thought Cena, he really doesn't need United States championship, but you know what? He's probably getting his belt to probably put, some up and coming over, somebody that can, who can, um, who can benefit off the rub, up and coming. But Cena lost the challenge match to Del Rio. That doesn't put Del Rio. Del Rio doesn't need the rub. That doesn't. I mean, more that doesn't make Del Rio. That's what we thought the open challenge thing would do. It's gonna make a up and comer by beating Cena. And granted, Del Rio beat him clean, but I agree with Nate. As far as what we thought the goal of the open challenge was, it was a failure because it did not achieve the goal as most of us thought for. So like if Cena is to get the United States Championship, it's probably to push somebody that's an up and comer. Del Rio has probably had mostly every. He's probably had mostly every, accomplishment under the sun in WWE. So that's all I have to say about ADR's return, the match, and even the John Cena Open Challenge overall. So we move on to the next match, which was the first Hell in a Cell match of the night, Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns. And still, even with, because this was a pretty good match, but even with performance like this, I'm still on the side of probably should get rid of Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, if not Hell in a Cell at all. I mean, if not Hell in a Cell at all. But this was, I guess, this was the payoff to the. Hold up. This was the payoff to. Oh no. This was the payoff to, the Bray Wyatt, the Roman Reigns that had lasted since the summer, and the match starts off. It's a fight. It's really Reigns just punching the crap. Just he's not even doing any holds. He's just just what you kind of expecting on a Cell match. You're not really expecting the start to be, chain wrestling or takedowns. You're probably seeing strikes and vicious slams. And the slam did come when Reigns started suplexing Bray, around the ring. And it was almost like Suplex City 2.0. And Bray Wyatt's not a small man, but he was getting like those exploder / pump handle suplex, and it was like, man. Then it came a spot where Bray Wyatt, he was in position for Reigns' drive-by drop kick, but he dodged it, and then he got punched again, and he fell out the ring, and then ended up in the same position just on the outside and got a drive-by kick. And then Bray would turn the tide. He would turn the tide with a kendo stick. And once again, me and Chris has talked about this plenty of times, I believe, on the court. I think we talked about this before on the corner. But I know we talked about it personally, that when Roman Reigns gets hit with a chair or a kendo stick, and it hits, he wears a flight jacket, and when he's getting hit with a weapon, it's almost like getting back. He gets hit in the stomach. It's like, wait a minute, shouldn't your flight jacket kind of reduce the impact of said weapon? And that's why when I was talking, because I was like, if I was Roman Reigns' opponent, you know, I would add a little bit of psychology to it. Like, okay, when I go to hit him with a weapon, I'm really aiming my shots to the exposed skin area. But that's just a little, you know, um, you know, POV of Reigns when he gets hit with a weapon. But yeah, Bray would take control with the kendo stick. There was a point where he put Reigns, he seated Reigns on a tie rope and whacked him out of the ring. And then, then came a point where he sat down beside Reigns and started whacking him. But then the interesting part where Bray he took the chair and he opened it, and then he hung it through the cell. He basically took the legs and put them through the cell, holes. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've never seen this before. Okay, where they going? Okay, they set up. Obviously, they set up a spot. Okay, where this is going to go? And he also did the same thing with a kendo stick. He put it in between, the cell, like made like a corner. And Bray tried to make, Reigns tried to make his comeback, but then Bray slammed him through the kendo stick. And then, then finally the chair will come into play. But the irony is that Bray set it up, but his face is the one that ran into the chair. And I found it to be pretty funny. Let's see, look at my notes here. Then it would be Reigns to basically have fun with the kendo stick, but not a kendo stick with kendo sticks. And man, he lit Bray up. He probably lit him up he almost lit him up as light as much as Bray Wyatt's freaking lighter, freaking lamp. You're doing your thing, Titus. Then this been a big spots came because then Reigns he started taking the tables out, and it's funny he said, it's like, one's not enough. We need two. And once again, irony strikes again. That most time happens in wrestling. Most time the person that sets up the weapon is the one that feels the weapon first. And and tables was set up beside the ring, and it looked like Reigns was gonna suplex Bray Wyatt. He was gonna suplex Bray Wyatt. He was gonna suplex Bray Wyatt through the table, off the apron. But then it was freaking Bray front, and then did his one arm side slam off the apron through the table. I mean, the stunner. And I mean, the impact. It's Stone Cold. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. That was Stone Cold Steve Austin. But the impact was fierce. I mean, because it wasn't like he just no, it was like he had Reigns like hung in the air, and then Bray was able to use it just to throw him down. But that would not be enough. That would not be enough. And then moments later, it would be Bray going through wood when he got powerbound through a table for a near fall. So it's like wood is not enough. It's going to take more than tables to put either man down. Then again, point Matt, where Reigns, he's doing his rapid clotheslines in the corner, and then he goes off the ropes, and then he runs into a Sister Abigail attempt. But man, Reigns was able to get out of it with this schoolboy, and I mean, it's one of the smoothest and fastest looking schoolboys I've ever seen to counter the Sister Abigail. But it doesn't get the win. As soon as the kickout happens, a Superman punch follows up for the near fall. I mean, great stuff. Then once again, they're back on the apron, and it leads to hold up, dog. Okay, back. Um, well, then they're back on the apron, and they're fighting off, and then Bray he kicks Reigns back. But now remember I told you there was another table set up. Actually, three tables got set up, but there was the second table was outside, and Reigns spears Bray off the apron through the table, and man, once again, talking about fierce impact, the impact of Bray's head hitting that table when it went up. The Spears. And now we'll get a near fall, which did not surprise me since the time that was elapsed from the impact from when they were laid on the floor to when Reigns finally rolled them in the ring and went for the cover. And it's like, okay, what is it going to take? We saw 3 table smashes, but no victory. And then Reigns, he's setting up for the spear. You can see like the anguish on his face, but it also almost looked like he himself questioned this spear attempt. And he goes to the spirit, and he gets booted right in the face. Sister Abigail, 1-2, kick out. And it's like, okay. Like, okay, something big is in a way. Or something else got to happen for this match to end. And Bray Wyatt, he takes the 2 kendo sticks and he slides one on he slides one into the top turnbuckle connector pads. And he slides the second one underneath on the second for the second turnbuckle pad. Oh boy! And he's dragging Reigns. Reigns, looks defenseless, motionless, and it's like this is going to get ugly. And Bray is all like, things like, you asked for this or you brought this on yourself. And she goes, Reigns stops it, whacks him with the kendo stick, and then throws him face eye first into the other kendo stick. A little bit of a ooh, and a spear, and the 1-2-3. Reigns in his first ever Hell in a Cell match picks up the win. And I gotta give him credit, man. That was some great effort from both men. This was both of their first Hell in a Cell match. Technically, it wasn't Bray Wyatt's first Hell in a Cell appearance if you count last year's, but still an actual match. Great effort. Hope there wasn't any blood. Which in a way is kind of a staple for a Hell in a Cell match. But I mean, I think the brutality, the physicalness was there. I think it really was there. And my prediction came true. I said I picked Roman Reigns to win. Of course, John Michael's gonna go with sing. And there goes that man. So we go into our next match, the second championship match of the night, the tag team championship, the Dudley Boys versus Kofi Kingston, Big E, the New Day. Once again, nothing short of average. I've said before, I say again, these Dudley Boys and New Day, they're really nothing to write home about. It's like they just happened. I mean, especially this one where you had the Dudleys, like the big highlight, the first big highlight of the match with the Dudley Boys botching the sidewalk slam leg drop, and man, they botched pretty bad. I mean, it was like real miscommunication. I mean, Devon first. I guess I guess he does it with his right leg. So, but he had to do his left, but he didn't turn around and try to do it with his right, and Kofi's still hanging on Bully on Bubba, and it's almost like crowd started booing, and it's like, yeah, you might as well move on. And then I think the biggest impact, one of the biggest was, when the New Day is doing their mud hole stomping, which looks so funny when Biggie's doing it, because you hear them, yeah. But then they followed with that Irish whip into the drop kick, and when they did it on Devon was still trying to get, and man, he got clobbered in his bald head, and man, I started laughing, and Chris, we both just started laughing together. It was just like, oh man. And then then the New Day tried to mimic the Dudleys with what's up, but failed. Bubba gets the tag in, gets the hot tag, and and then it comes a point where the Dudleys, they do, get but then they turn around. They turn around. It was double drop kick by Kofi, and the camera work is what made it work. It just came out of nowhere. You're like, okay, and then you just see Kofi just come into the frame and wham. Then Kofi, he picks up the trombone. Well, our referee is busy with, I think he's busy with Devon or Biggie, trying to get one of them out. And he, what the hell? And he throws the trombone. Throws the trombone at Bully, Bubba, and that falls out. throwing off his inner Eddie, and the crowd started chanting Eddie and Eddie, and it's like, oh, really? This is how once again the New Day they're gonna steal a victory, or in a way they haven't stole victories. They've just basically escaped. But referee sees Bubba with the trombone. Bubba is pleading his case. The referee is really thinking about it, and then he goes to he's gonna ring the bell, but then he says, "No, I didn't see it," and he's right because I guess the thing is supposed to be you have to see it to actually call it. But then it's almost like see the difference between when Eddie did it from when Kofi tried it is that Eddie would slam the chair, so it's like the referee heard it, and then he just basically put the pieces together. He sees Eddie on the floor. He heard a chair shot sound. Person got the chair. Oh, like I'm not stupid. But see, Kofi, he's not a Guerrero. He just got to do that. And then Bully, oh, they're gonna drive by. They're gonna drive by. So oh, okay. Then then Bubba, he breaks the trombone, and Kofi, angry Kofi, tries to attack, gets the reverse 3D, only for a near fall. Then the ending comes when they set up for the 3D, but Biggie comes back in the ring with the trombone. He hits Bubba. Devon sends him out the ring with the cactus clothesline, and then Bubba, he just walks right into a trouble in paradise, and the New Day retain their titles. Once again, I mean, and this the only difference is that finally the New Day finally was actual winner, like in terms of pinfall submission, wasn't a DQ. Okay, Betty. Oh, quick, hold up. Oh. Sorry about that, guys. Again. Hey, Big Rick. Hey, Malcolm. Long time no see. How are things in the Big Apple? Things are well in the Big Apple, especially if you are a baseball fan with the Mets in the World Series. I mean, I'm more of a Yankee fan, but I've always say just because I'm a Yankee fan doesn't mean I don't have respect for the Mets. I actually like the Mets. It's just that I like the Yankees more. But then other than that, it's pretty good. It's getting pretty brisk. But other than that, it's all good in the Big Apple. How's everything in the land down under? So yeah, once again, the New Day Dudley Boys match. Once again, no, they're really nothing to write home about. They're really just average at best. I still feel that somehow, some way, this is going to lead to a tables match. It seems only natural, and it's kind of weird because that what seemed like a natural route for the tables match when the New Day was doing the save the tables. They've kind of stopped doing the save the tables, campaign. Because I thought that was like a perfect lead up to a tables match. Especially so many times Xavier was been put through a table. So, but that would be that would be the tag team champion. New Day retains. Then move on to the next title match for the Divas Championship. Nikki Bella versus Charlotte, the Divas champion Charlotte. I basically, oh wait, hold up, guys. Hold up. Sorry about that again, but um, I wish. I mean, this match of the for starters, this match basically made amends for the Night of Champions match, and I really didn't like that Night of Champions match, even though in the recent release top Divas matches in WWE history that WWE put up on their website, that was in the list, and I definitely disagreed with that. But this match made this match made amends. This match made amends. I mean, this match was physical from the get go. I mean, it really never let up on the physicality. You had from the get go, Nikki hitting a big, her form of death, knocked Charlotte out the ring. Then she threw Charlotte over the barricade, and Charlotte responds back with a form of her own. And then Nikki hit a stomp from the apron onto Charlotte's back. And there was some blood. Charlotte was bleeding from the nose. And, you know, if Nate was here, he would test it. Oh my God. That so we have really not been a real big fan of really Nikki looking like physically superior over Charlotte. Because in this match, it was almost like that again. Even though this time Charlotte got more offense, but oh, so it's like Nikki took control like immediately, almost like 2 minutes into the match. And it was mostly all Nikki, and then Charlotte, made her, and there was an interesting part when Charlotte um, got backslide pinned and the kick out, and then they rolled they rolled in a seated position with their legs. I mean, with their arms intertwined. But instead of the usual, they both stand up. No, Nikki was able to pull it back into a pin. I was like, okay, that was a little bit interesting. Then Charlotte, made her, um, made her come back. Then, oh, oh, no way. Oh, then entering the part of the match. Oh, entering the part of the match where Charlotte's on the top and Nikki on the second. Oh, on the second rope, and she's going to German her, but Charlotte backflips out. And man, I don't think one thing. I think because Nikki had never did anything like that before, because she just fell flat on her back and head, and she looked the worst for wear out of that. Because while Charlotte landed on her feet, Nikki just landed flat on her back and head, and Charlotte sets her up, hits the spear, goes only puts it on a figure four, but it's only able to get the figure four because her back was hurt, so she couldn't break. And just simple selling or simple storytelling like that, I dig. So it led to Nikki actually reversing it, and then Nikki was able to throw Charlotte out the ring, oh ring, and it hit a mean Alabama slam on the apron. It looked like it was all but over for Charlotte because Nikki went for the rack attack, but it got countered right into the figure eight, and Charlotte got the victory. And then one of my least favorite parts of the match. After that loss, Nikki just sounded like almost like that, like a little tweak in my leg, and then she just go back, just walking up, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, this is a pretty good fatal four. This is what I'm talking about with Nikki, with her selling. There's one thing that she lacks. It's the ability to sell. Charlotte sold the back. There was a point when Charlotte tried to go for the suit, tried to go for a suit, but her back gave out. She sold the back. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my. Ow! Oh! Oh! Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute. The cannonball. Oh! The cannonball again. Oh! Wow, Reigns really recovered from that super kick real fast. Oh! Ah, this man! That was one hell of a fatal four-way match. That, that was that was one hell of a fatal four-way match. And to be quite honest, this singles match has been a kind of a long time in the making because Rollins basically, not illegally, but he basically stole Reigns' WrestleMania moment. And Reigns never got that one-on-one championship match against Rollins either. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, Seth. You better stop. You better stop talking. Okay. Oh, it's getting warmer in the land down there. We are in a drought. and there are wildfire risks because of our climate is similar to Southern California. Wow, pretty interesting because and pretty unfortunate because yeah, in terms of wildfires, the only place I really hear about wildfires is Southern California. So I didn't really know that Australia suffers from from wildfires as well. Make your move, Seth. You ain't playing. Okay, it's gonna lead to something. What? Um, so that basically so yeah, great physical match between Charlotte and Nikki. Really made amends for the Night of Champions match. And then the next match would be for the WWE Championship, Kane versus Seth Rollins. And I'm not gonna lie, this match was was pretty much almost all Seth Rollins. Surprisingly, after Kane got his little bit of offense, it was mostly all Seth Rollins. Like I wasn't expecting Seth Rollins to not get any offense, but he got good enough offense, and Kane was able to hit the choke slam for a near fall, and then it got to a point where Kane he did the sidewalk slam, but onto the announcement table cover, and he clears the announce table, and it's like he's going to choke slam Rollins through the announce table while they're both staring announce table, but then Rollins he escapes, and he basically escapes and drops down, gets off the table, but he's still in between Kane's legs, and then he power bombs Kane onto the Spanish announce table, but the poor Spanish announce table would not break so easily as it used to. It is almost like as if when Ranger tried to go for the RKO and it's supposed to break through the table, it doesn't break. The table didn't even break. It just slanted over and fell. And so it almost looked like Rollins was gonna win by countout, but that would not be the case. And then, Rollins, he hits he hits a super key. Oh no, this is cool. He hits a hyper. He hits his springboard knee, which I call the hyper cougar knee, because in the video game WWE Day Reckoning 2, that moves in the game, and it's called the hyper cougar knee. Um, it's the hyper cougar knee, but it only brings Kane down to, a knee. Hits another one. Then I think he hit a third one, but then he hits a super kick. It only brings Kane down to an elbow. Then hits another one. Finally puts Kane down on the mat, on his back. Then he goes on the top rope, Rollins does. And it's a frog splash. And once again, if there's anybody to do a frog splash now in WWE that I'm okay with it, it's Rollins. He's got a beautiful frog splash. A beautiful one. So I think Eddie would give him, because if Eddie was, there was spirit, we could see spirits, and they could give you consent. I think Eddie would give Rollins the consent because Rollins does got a great fight. I think he has a better false press than Chavo. No, but that will earn a kick out. And you got Rollins saying to himself, he's only a man. He's only a man. And he tries to go after Kane again, but then Kane reaches up and shows more signs of life. And he's got Rollins by the throat, but Rollins kicks out of, breaks the grip with a kick and pedigree. And 1, 2, 3, Rollins beats Kane decisively and cleanly. That really shocked. I'm like, yo, whoa, not only did Rollins win cleanly, he won pretty decisive. That's decisive if you ask me. So that was basically the match where, I'm not gonna lie, the match went kind of really surprised me for it to be almost all Rollins. That really surprised me. And then finally, the main event. The last Hell in a Cell match of the evening. 13 years, most of those years out of 13 was inactive. But anyway, 13 years, it comes to an end between Brock Lesnar and the dead man himself, The Undertaker. Hell in a Cell. And this was not the first time that they were in a Hell in a Cell. So you guys remember 2002, they were in a Hell in a Cell. And that was brutal as well. And this match would not be any different. It was brutal. I mean, almost instantly when Brock got thrown in the ring post, even though his freaking head didn't hit it. He was already bleeding like a stuffed pig. It was almost to the point that he looked like how Eddie Guerrero did. No, not just how Eddie Guerrero. I kind of thought it was going to end up how Eddie Guerrero did at Judgment Day when he bladed so badly that he almost died. He cut a stem. But the irony I felt that I said when Brock Lesnar was all bloody like how he was bloody bad. The irony of it was that when they went against each other in 2002 in Hell in a Cell, it was The Undertaker who was bleeding that bad. For those that have never seen the 2002 Hell in a Cell between Taker and Lesnar, viewer discretion advised when Taker is bleeding. That's probably the worst blade job I've ever seen Taker have in his career. Although I've seen Taker bleed, that had to be the worst. It was just gross. But anyway, it's still physical. The chair shot. I think Brock Lesnar forgot that WWE is basically banning chairs to the head because he clearly went for them. And you see Taker really trying to block. And there's a point where he went sideways and popped Undertaker. I don't know. I think it glanced to his shoulder, but it popped him in the jaw. And they showed it in slow motion. And, then he used the steel steps and it hit Taker. And then that's how Taker started bleeding. And then the doctor got involved when Brock and Taker started bleeding, which got, of course, boos. And I kept saying to myself, this doctor, he better not tread, too closely. He might get decked. And, of course, Suplex City will come into play. Brock Lesnar did hit his suplexes, German suplexes, not as much as he did on Cena. Then there's a point of match, where Taker, he got a 5. No, I think the referee was checking on Brock. I mean, the doc checked on, but they showed a replay. But during the replay, the doc got thrown out in the ring. And from what Nate told me earlier today, that was not planned. Brock really just tossed the referee out of the doctor out of the ring. And he hit an F5 on Undertaker. Undertaker kicked out. Then I think he hit another F5. Undertaker kicks out again. Then Lesnar is thinking like, okay, what else? And then he starts basically rips the mat, basically the sheet of the mat, and reveals, as most people know about wrestling, underneath that ring, there's a big sheet of a thin, wide sheet of wood. And I'm thinking, oh crap, so Sugar Honey Iced Tea, something, it's about to get real. And the first time I saw that was when Bubba/Bully did it on Sting at Slammiversary. And it looked like he's going to F5. So he's going to F5 Undertaker onto the wood, but choke slam onto the wood. And I seriously thought that instead of a choke slam on the wood, which got a big pop and the crowd was in all that, I seriously thought it was going to lead to Brock Lesnar getting choke slammed through wood. Like he was going to break through and go underneath the ring. I really thought that, but that would not be the case. And that would have been awesome too. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Taker went for the pin. Yeah, he did go for the pin, but that would be a kick out. That would be a big near fall. Then Taker would hit the tombstone. I think it was on the wood again. And that would not be Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar, he's on his knees. I forgot there also was a Hell's Gate moment, but Brock Lesnar would not tap out. He would fight out of that. That was like before what I just said. And Brock Lesnar's on his knees. It's almost like straight out of, like execution style Taker. And rest in peace. The slit throat. And man, oh man, is payback. And you know what? Because Brock will low blow Taker. But unlike what Taker did to him at SummerSlam, Taker was facing him. And man, you heard the pop. It was just, oh yeah, low blow. You actually heard a pop. I'm like, oh, damn. Something like this one bird you don't want to. It's like this one bird you wouldn't want to get low blow by. It's maybe freaking Brock because his arms are freaking big and everything. He hits hard. And that would be the beginning of the end for Taker because then after that he would be F5 for a third time. And once again, just like in 2002, Taker will lose to the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell. I've always been, as you guys know, I've always wanted to see Taker get a win over Brock Lesnar. And that's why the SummerSlam match was bittersweet because, he got a win, but it was controversial because he really lost. And everything is like, I really did. Taker's gonna get a win, Brock Lesnar. I would like for it to be clean. But so it is pretty sad for me. I'm like, oh man, because that was supposed to be dubbed the final chapters. That wasn't the end for. Taker did not get the win over Brock Lesnar. But despite that, it was one hell of a match. The past two Brock and Lesnar matches, I think, have eclipsed the WrestleMania match. Even though how historic that was because the streak ended, once again, I still say, if you took either of those matches and those were the streak matches, it still would have been shocking that, oh shoot, the streak ended. But I bet you're like, man, what a hell of a way for the streak to come to an end. And Taker, he would get a standing ovation from the crowd. It was pretty interesting to see. Even before that, when Brock Lesnar got out the cell, he basically fell to his knees like an exhausted out of the punishment. And the reason why I chuckle at because I'm like, hey, look, he's actually selling the punishment, something that he did not do at when they first went against each other at Hell in a Cell. Because the first Hell in a Cell they had against each other, after the match was over, it was like Brock just completely like no soul, whatever happened. And Taker would get a stand away from the crowd. And just when he's about to drop on the knees to do his pose, the freaking Wyatt family come out. And it's like, what the? It's like 2 years in a row, Bray Wyatt gets involved in the main event that he has no business getting involved in. And they beat down Taker. It's like Taker's already beaten down. And they beat him down. And as you saw, if you watch Raw, basically what they did to Kane every day, basically carried Taker out. And JBL was so furious. He was like, these bearded bastards, there's no honor in this, no honor. It's like JBL is still like the heel announcer, but one thing that stays consistent is his respect for the Undertaker. That stays consistent, and basically that's how Hell in a Cell would end. So that's 2 years in a row where the Hell in a Cell paper would end with Bray Wyatt, basically on top, even though he wasn't involved in the match. 2 years in a row, and I gotta say, for a pay per view that didn't have that much build, if not any. And I even said, even though that might be good, that does not mean that it's going to equal to an automatic failure. I never said that it would lead to an automatic failure because of the lack of build. But Hell in a Cell 2015 did exceed my expectations. It was better than I thought it would be. I said it would probably be a one-match pay-per-view. And some might still think, yeah, the only match to really really worth seeing is the Undertaker Lesnar match. But then again, probably some people might not. They might say, hey man, those Hell in a Cell matches are worth the watch. And some people might say, you know what, maybe even that, if you want to see something a little bit different on the main roster side of the Divas division or the women's division, probably that Nikki Bella Shaw is one to watch. So I think the undercard really shone. I think oh my God, I just forgot a match. Ryback and Kevin Owens. I can't believe I forgot that match. And basically, Kevin Owens, I'm nearing the end. I don't want to give this a short end of the stick, but basically Kevin Owens, at the end he would go on the apron, get a little kick, and he hit the pop up. I guess Carl Ryback in the eye. So it's like a question: was it clean or was it not? Like, guess that was the end of the Ryback Owens feud. But Fred, probably the only real downer match was the Dudley Boys, and you maybe argue the Dudley Boys and New Day match. But I think the undercard, because the most match had the most, it was basically selling on Taker and Lesnar being in the cell. And so I'm going to say that's probably all you need to really get asses in the seats. But still, you need an undercard. And I think the undercard really came through in this pay-per-view. And Hell in a Cell is maybe a B pay-per-view, but I don't think it necessarily was a throwaway pay-per-view that much. So, if I had to give it, a rating, most time, when we do the rating, we do it by, rate of, 10. I would probably give Hell in a Cell 2015 a solid 8. A solid 8. But I think, from that 7 point, if you want to go a little bit lower, 7.5 to 8, either one of it, maybe even a little bit of 8.5. But I think I'm going with a solid 8 on this. I give Hell in a Cell 2015 a solid 8. Oh, no. The only real downer, the two real down matches, probably the Dudley, but for me, the lead was the Del Rio Cena match. I still don't know if Cena's going on vacation. I don't know if it was like, just get it over with. I'm just still can't wrap my mind on how that match went. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my review of Hell in a Cell 2015. If you guys, when this, when the live feed goes off, if you want to leave your thoughts on the pay-per-view in the comment section, by all means, feel free to do so. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a nice week. Hope you guys have a nice weekend. Oh, and once again, for all you baseball fans, tomorrow is the World Series, Mets versus Royals, and also Tuesday's NBA returns. And with that, now I say, hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great week. And And until the next corner, I will see you later, and peace.